Hi, everyone. This is Jackie Bless, Field Success Manager from the home office, and I am joined with Jen Haugen. So hello, Jen.
Hello.
Hi. This is a special edition of what I think you guys call Table Talks. And the reason we're coming with you today is that we did this fabulous webinar earlier this week about what's new with our summer outlines, and we started to share some best practices. And Jen started to share during the webinar some of the success she's seeing in Table. And guess what? She's gotten a lot of messages, and we have gotten a lot of messages of wanting to learn more from Jen. So today we're going to do an interview with her, and we're going to pick her brain on what she's doing and answer some of those most frequently asked questions. And we're also doing this because Jen's going on vacation on Monday, right? So she is out of office through July 4th, and we want to respect her summertime and allow her to have time with her family. So we hope that this today will be really helpful to understand what Jen is doing. So Jen, first, tell us about how you decided to make that switch over to Table recently.
Yes. So I started in the pilot, I don't know, maybe December-ish, and I was really like hesitant. How do I figure this out? Well, then April came, and I had done like maybe 3 parties up until April, mostly always me hosting. April, I decided, well, I'm just going to offer and see if a host would like to try this. I had a couple hosts say yes. And I just said, okay, my goal is to have everything on Table by summer, because in my mind, it seemed like a very low-key way to party, that with everything opening up, people could check in and check out, and also help me remove some of the Facebook nuances that we all know and hate. So in May, I started just talking to my hosts and for my June parties, because I thought I'm going to go full on in June. And I decided that I would just let them know that this is what I'll be doing in the summertime, and are they okay with it? And I just really played the positive of it. You know, there's no distractions. It's easy for people to check in and check out. Inviting is very easy. And they were mostly all okay with it. I had one that was like, no, I want my party like the last person. And then I was like, well, I can do that in July when I'm, because I didn't want to be doing all these different things. And it's, as we're all consultants, it's our business. So we have to run it how we want to run it. And so 17 parties later, I guess, for June, all in 1 week in Table is what I did. And I do it today.
Front loading your month, right?
Right. And you mentioned vacation time, and that's why I wanted all of it to happen at the beginning. So I'm not stressing out, at the end of the month if I didn't meet what I wanted for my goals. And just from doing this past week of 17 parties, it's so refreshing for me to like go into Facebook now, because I don't have a million notifications, and I can literally go there to socialize and see what I want to see, instead of feeling like I have to go and check out my notifications for my parties, and oh, did they invite enough, and oh, this and that, and did people see this post? I don't know. Do I have to tag people? I mean, it's just such a breath of fresh air and a weight lifted off my shoulders. So I really have enjoyed Table, and I can tell you from these parties this week, my success with these parties has been great. I mean, it has not been any different than what I'd find on a typical Facebook party, but I think that all comes back to the other things too. It's not just Table, it's host coaching primarily. So
yeah, so talking about host coaching, because I know you just mentioned a little bit about some of those things that you were describing about Table, like there's no noise, no distractions. So like, what words are you sharing with hosts that help you describe Table?
Mm-hmm. Well, and before, I want to say this too, because I had several people in the past couple months too, that I didn't add this, but they would say, well, they'd be on Facebook and they'd say, where's the party? Like they'd comment on one post, I can't find the party again. So that was another reason for me to go to Table. So anyway, going back to, how to invite or having the hosts get their invites going. I have been doing the personal invite method for a year, but even more so in the last probably 7, 8, 9 months, where I have the host in the, the first day I connect with her about, hey, I'm looking forward to your party next week. It's going to be so much fun. I would love for you to make a guest list of approximately 40 to 50 people that you want to personally invite to the party. And I share the 40 to 50 because that's what we would do when we did cooking parties. So I look at each of my virtual parties as basically how I had my hosts invite to my cooking parties. And I for a while, I followed the other style, not on Table, but even on Facebook a year ago. I was doing what I thought everybody else was doing that I've seen people promote, where you go and hit the invite button and you hit 150 people. But that is not successful. We don't even know who is actually interested. So when I have my host send out 40 messages to people that she has actually thought of, much more qualified guests come and much more people order because they're actually there because somebody asked them and they said, yes, I'm interested. Please send me the link. So I really appreciate that about Table. There's no button to be like, beep, 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 beep. I can invite as many people as I want. So that's really it. I mean, it's comparing it to a cooking party, invite out 40 people. And I stress, we want at least 15 to 20 from the 40. That's what our goal is. And so I have them make the list. I also have them post on their Facebook wall to say, hey, I'm doing this. Is anyone interested? This is what we're going to be learning about. So they'll get a few more that way. But then 3 days later or so after I've sent that initial message, which is on a Monday, because my parties start on a Monday. So the Monday before is when I say, let's start the guest list. Then on Thursday, I'll say, how's the guest list coming? How many do you have? Great. Here's your party link. Send this to everybody that says, yes, they want to join. And so I give her the words to say things like, or say, have them invite like, hey, Sally, I'm super excited because I'm hosting an online Pampered Chef party with my consultant, Jen, and she's teaching us 5 summer essentials that you need for your backyard party right now. And I'd love to have you join us. Would you like the link? And so it's asking them a question, not just saying, here's the link to join, because it's important to know, do they really want to come? How does the host know who to follow up with if she has no idea who plans to attend? And I run into that sometimes still, because some hosts will still try to skip that step and they'll just put in like, here's the link to join instead of asking them if they want the link. And I can tell who's actually doing that because who is more interested or who's getting more orders type thing. So, and then it's great because on Table, the host can see how many guests she has already there. And if she has told me, oh my goodness, I already have 15 people and then only 7 have joined, for example, I'll say, hey, who are the other people? You might want to send them a little reminder. And I'll do that usually on Friday because I don't want to work the weekends. And then Sunday night, I'll just check in again and say, okay, you have all 15 there, or you have only 12 there. And here's, who are the other 3? You might want to remind them one more time. So that then on Monday, when the party is starting, it's good to go.
So just kind of as a recap, and I want to make sure I get the timing right, because I know the timing is something that, we've heard from consultants. So it sounds like the week before the party starts, you're reaching out to that host, asking them to build their invite list. But what's different is that message they're first sending out to guests is inviting them, like, are you interested in attending this party first? Because then, like, are you okay inviting 40? Do you have to go a little bit more if you're getting no's? But you're getting that commitment first. So it's almost like a more qualified guest coming. They're more interested, more vested. Mm-hmm. Then it sounds like you're having them send out that link about 3 to 4 days ahead of time. Mm-hmm. To the actual party. Because again, we talked about in our webinar before, like, you don't want to invite guests to an empty space, right? So do you have some content in there for them to start?
Yep. So I use the content that is provided with the table outlines. So like the brand new backyard party, I use that. So it's just a nice, and before we had that, I did something similar. So it was just, there's something there for them to start looking at right away. I also usually will post a demo in there so they can see, I mean, in my welcome video, they see me, but I also want them to see me like in my kitchen doing something. So I post that in there too. And then when the party starts, I'll do the 3 or 5 posts or whatever it is per day for those few days so that they can keep coming back. Yep.
Yeah. And so how long, tell us more about what your party looks like. Cause I know you also incorporate a live in there, but like how many days is your party? I know people want to know like what day do you start and so forth. When do you wrap up?
Yep. So I basically have taken what I used to do on Facebook and I replicated on Table. So my party starts on a Monday and it ends on a Thursday night. So they have basically from the time they enter the party until Thursday night the following week to order and take part and look at everything. So what I've done is, you know, I have the stuff all pre-posted, but then like on that Monday, I'll add in kind of like a grouping of things that kind of go together with each other. So like the backyard party is a great theme because you guys already have that ready to go. But I did something similar where it was like a cooking demo and then a couple of posts. And I did that basically every day. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday, since this is my last day, is my wrap up day. Last day to order, don't forget this or that. I do a cooking demo. And I've tested this in various ways. So you'll have to just decide on what works best for you. But I have done a cooking demo and then just posted the link to it. Like I upload it to YouTube and just post the link to it. But recently I also have invited everybody from my parties to come over to my Facebook business page for a demo. And I just say, here's when it is happening. You're welcome to come over. And then after the demo, I just basically download that, I upload that to YouTube, and then I post it back over to Table so that they have a link that if they didn't get to watch it, they can still watch it. So not that I think you have to do that. That's just me because I really like doing live stuff. So it's just impossible for me to do 17 lives or even if I had 4 in one week, it'd be too much. So for me, I thought I would try it and see how it works. So people like the demo a lot. Whether they're watching it live or on replay, it does not matter. I still get people to watch it and then they'll still comment on things. And I think that whether it's a 10-minute demo, 20 minutes, actually mine recently was 35 minutes and they stayed on and they enjoyed it. And so you just have to decide what works best for you. I like to think of it as like if I was at someone's house, like a cooking party again, what would I show them? What would I teach them? What do I want them to learn? It's not about just me sharing my power tools and getting them to book parties. It's like, what are the 5 summer essentials for a backyard party? And then I actually go through them. I never show more than 10 products. It's usually between 5 and 10.
No, I think that's really
in my demo.
Yeah. I mean, Jen, I think you're really good about providing that value to your guests. And I think this is like a really unique way for you to be present in your parties. Cause like we said before, you know, what guests want to see is they want to see the real consultants in their parties.
Yes.
And so, you know, you're doing that through doing your intro video. I mean, that's something you can have pre-recorded and you can use in each party. I suggest having one pre-recorded for like a typical party and one for shared rewards. Mm-hmm. So that way you can talk about the different parties. But then I think this is really smart of being able to do that live. And you said that you got lots of people over there, right, to watch you.
Yeah, I had like 175 comments on that video. I'm like, I've never gotten that many comments. So for me, it was successful. It taught me that, yes, you can do a table party and still invite people over to your business page. It's important to have it be the business page because if some people aren't on Facebook, they can't access a group. And so a business page is Google searchable. Anyone can see it, no matter if they're on Facebook member or if they're a login member or not, they can still see it. So that's why it's important to do it on your business page. And then of course, because it's on your business page, all the rest of your people can see it, even if they weren't in the party, and you can share it to other various places. So sometimes business pages don't get enough love. We think it's all about the groups and sharing it to a group, and it's really not. I think it's the business page that's awesome. So.
And I think the business page is a great place to have that library of videos because again, you can do it, you're live there, but you can share it in other groups. So if you're, doing your Facebook parties and doing exactly what you said, like downloading that and leveraging it in YouTube. And what's great is it's so easy to embed YouTube videos in Table.
Yes.
And they're right there. It's not taking them away from the platform. You're seeing the video in the platform. And I think that's really, really cool.
There's no dings like on Facebook of like, oh, well, this was a YouTube link.
Yeah.
I won't show it to anybody. No.
Now, I know one other question that came up and we kind of went through the party quickly, but what other things are you working with your host during the party? Like, are you doing like daily host coaching like consultants do with Facebook parties today?
Yeah. Yep. So I don't have my host do like a ton. Like, I'm not there to be a taskmaster for her to post something or him. The main things I want my host to do that I partner with her to do is inviting enough people, because that's huge and key. And again, it's only 40, so don't tell your host 150. Now, I did have a host actually this week. She on her own invited 142 people personally, and that was awesome. But she has now a $2,000 party sitting, and she's got like a ton of rewards to use, which is great. But 40 people, I want her to do that. And then I just give her updates. Oh, you have like 7 people there. Who else are we missing? That's leading up to the party. Then during the party week, again, it's just updates. Like, you already have your first order or the recruiting messages. I honestly, they can post in the party if they want. They can share their favorites. I'm not going to tell them that, well, today's task is to share your favorites. I feel like I did that on Facebook, and most wouldn't, because they just didn't have time, or they didn't know what to post, or they feel weird about it, whatever. It's fine. I'd rather have them just be, interacting with their friends, whether it's through inviting or then the reminding. That's the other key piece. And then I just want them to show up to the live party, to be honest, because if they're there, they're probably going to bring their friends there. And in the live party portion, I ask them, what are some of your favorite things? Share that in the comments. And then they do. And that's fine. So.
And do you ask your host just to like pop in the party to make sure they're engaging with your content? More so just so that way there's call it like sign of life in the party, and helps invite others to engage too.
Yeah. I let them know, yes, I'm posting a few things every day. If you can go in and check them out and then comment on a couple things, then your friends will see it. But I don't want them to think they have to spend like 20 minutes in there. So yeah, engaging is good, but there's no like certain amount of stuff that they need to do.
Yeah. And then what about your party wrap up? Any tips just to make sure that you're having like a really strong party close with your host?
Yep. So at the end of the party, so basically on the last day of the party, so for me, that's a Thursday, I do several things. Well, actually the Wednesday, so my live demo is usually Tuesday night. Wednesday, I will check in with the host and say, here's where things are at. Here's who is in the party but has not ordered yet. And I give her a reminder message to send out. And I ask her if she could do that today or that day. Meanwhile, and I say too, I will also be following up, because how awesome Table is, we can send a message to people, whether they provided an email, a text message, or a text number, I still can get to them. So I do that, and I send them all a quick little, we're wrapping up tomorrow. Is there anything I can do to help you? And then Thursday, the wrap up, I do make a post of it's the last day. And, just refresh or telling them again how they can order. If there's anything I can do to help them, here's my cell phone number. So I do that as a post. I also will text anyone that maybe had been texting with me that hasn't ordered yet. Like, is there anything I can do to help you with your order, so we don't leave you behind? No pressure, of course. And just keeping the host up to date and to me, Thursdays are always the most fun because the orders come in. I mean, Wednesdays too, but Thursdays I'm like always telling my host, oh my goodness, you're at this level. Oh my goodness, you're at this level. And they just get so excited, and I'm excited. And I share my excitement with them. And I think that that's part of the party wrap up too, because if you don't get excited, they're not going to do anything else either. So
Yeah, and I recently hosted my own, or I hosted a table party with a consultant, and I had that same experience because we use that text message feature within Table to send out a reminder for the
yes,
shared rewards party. And then the consultant reached me. She's like, oh my gosh, I don't know what just happened, but all these orders are starting to roll in. Like, check this out. Our discount's increasing. And again, it was because of using that text. Like, I think we talk about the fact, and we just have to be mindful, people are busy. I
yes,
think, and now that restrictions are easing in the US, like, nudges are needed, but you know what? I mean, and I know I'm talking about my own experience with my own party and my own friends. My friends actually told me they were so happy the consultant followed up
yeah,
and reminded them. They're like, that was so nice of them because I'm so busy with work, I would have forgotten, and I appreciated that. So, I think as long as you're delivering that message out of like, you have the best interest for them, like you don't want them to miss out. Like,
yeah,
those nudges are great.
yeah, yeah. And yeah, definitely sending that text to anyone who's provided their number is so nice. And so in addition to that, I will reach out personally, like I mentioned, but I think you have to do that, not because you have to, but that's our job as a consultant, is to reach out to everybody that was there and offer your assistance and see what you can do to suggest anything if that's something they need. Some may not order, and that's okay, but then you can say, oh my goodness, I'm sure there were things on your list. What can I do to help you get them at a discount? So there's all kinds of ways we can follow up with people. And even after, when the party is done, and maybe there's someone still that was like, oh, I wish I could have done something, but I couldn't afford it, so.
Awesome. Well, Jen, are there any other last words of advice that you have to your fellow consultants for table
Sure.
parties?
Sure. I think the best thing I can tell you is that it's not a Facebook party. So don't get all, there's nobody engaging. It's okay. We are so accustomed and trained mentally to be like, oh, there's got to be comments. And it's okay. Table is not like that. And think about if you were at an in-home party, not everybody comments on everything you share, right? You're just there sharing, and maybe at the end, people will ask a couple questions, and that's okay. So try to think of it as just something totally new and different instead of trying to replicate Facebook. I think that was my biggest hang up when I first started a few months ago with Table. I felt like I had to do everything just as I did on Facebook, and that doesn't work, nor should it have to be that way. So, so just be open to trying it, and don't be afraid to just go hog wild into it.
Go big, go home, people.
Yeah, I mean, after this experience of doing all 17 now, just, I'm wrapping them all up right now. I feel like, why would I ever go back to Facebook, to be totally honest, because it really went well. The host coaching hasn't really changed for me, because that's how I was doing my host coaching for Facebook, personally inviting, and I wouldn't even let their guests into the party until Monday. So it was always the same for me. So if you have strong host coaching, and you're just looking for a low-key platform that doesn't have distractions, and you have a special party spot where they know they can go and you have access to them because they've provided an email or a cell phone, and everything's all in one spot, this is the thing. You should just do it.
Well, those are great words of advice, Jen. Thank you so much for your time today. I know that you are very busy with wrapping up your parties and getting ready for vacation, but I know that lots of our consultants will appreciate your words of advice.
Sure. Yeah.
All right. Well, best of luck to everyone with their table parties. Again, we can't hear to wait how everyone's doing. I can't wait to hear how the new summer outlines are working for everyone. And we're loving all the tips we're hearing. I think this is going to be so valuable for everyone. Have a great day, everyone.